So students, in today's class we will discuss about constitutional and non-constitutional body. Then what is the difference between constitutional body and non-constitutional body? In simple term, a body, an artificial body, organization, commission, committee, which formed through an article, Okay, take an example, UPSC, Article 315. Understood? Like that we have National Commission for Scheduled Caste or Scheduled Tribes, Article 338 and 338A. So any body which formed through an article of the Constitution, that body it is called constitutional body. The next, any body which formed through act of the Parliament, that body it is called non-constitutional statutory body. Constitutional body, non-constitutional body. Non-constitutional body is also called as statutory body. Why? Because those bodies were formed through act, statutory act. We have studied Lokpal Act, that were formed, right? We have studied GST Council, Article 269A. Remember? So any body in which article is related or that body formed through an article of the Constitution, constitutional body. Okay, any body which formed through act, that is non-constitutional or statutory body. Understood? So this is the difference between constitutional body and non-constitutional body. Understood? Okay. Now we will discuss one by one what are the constitutional bodies. After completion of the constitutional bodies, we will discuss non-constitutional body. So first such constitutional body, that is National Commission for Scheduled Caste. National Commission for Scheduled Caste. In fundamental rights we have discussed what are the rights, constitutional rights given to the SC, Scheduled Caste. Reservation also we have discussed. Discrimination we discuss. We also discuss about the atrocities to SC and ST Act 1989, which it is in current affair, right? That we discuss. Now we will discuss about one commission which is related to Scheduled Caste. First of all, what type of body it is? Constitutional body. Constitutional body. How we can say this body formed based upon the Article 338. 338. Okay. So immediately after the commencement of the Constitution, this body was not formed. This body was not formed. Actually, there was a one special officer. There was a one special officer, single person. There was a one special officer or commissioner for SC and ST both. Commissioner for SC and ST from 1950 till 1978. Till 1978 there was a one special officer or commissioner for SC and ST. Then in the year 1978 what government did? Government has appointed multi-member body. Government what it did? It has appointed multi-member body, but that committee was not constitutional body. Okay, so that committee was executive body which helped that special officer. One special officer was there, right? So the body which were formed in the 1978, that body helped the special officer. Then next by 65th Constitutional Amendment Act. By 65th Constitutional Amendment Act, one constitutional body was formed, multi-member constitutional body, earlier single, but now multi-member constitutional body was established. By which act? 65th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay. So what was the name of the body? National Commission for SC and ST both. National Commission for SC and ST. Okay, by 65th Constitutional Amendment Act. Then again by 89th Constitutional Amendment Act. Again by 89th Constitutional Amendment Act, National Commission for SC separated and one more new body was established, that is National Commission for ST. National Commission for ST. So Article 338 National Commission for SC. Article 338A National Commission for ST. Now understood? First single officer, then 78 one body established, Then 65th Constitutional Amendment Act, multi-member body, that was constitutional body. Then again by 89th Constitutional Amendment Act, National Commission for SC separated and new body was formed, that was National Commission for ST. Understood everyone? So now we will discuss about the National Commission for SC. So this National Commission for SC, it was formed in the year 2004. It was formed in the year 2004. Separate National Commission for SC and ST. When it was formed? In the year 2004. Okay. So Suraj Bhan was the first chairman. He was the first chairman. Then what about the composition of this commission? So this commission consists chairman, vice chairman and not more than 3 members. Chairman, vice chairman and not more than 3 members. So how many members are there in this commission? 5. Chairman, vice chairman and not more than 3 members. Okay. Who will appoint them? President. President of India will appoint them. Apart from that, President of India will only determine their tenure or condition of service. Tenure as well as the condition of service. Simple. 5 members are there. 1 chairman, 1 vice chairman, 3 other members. Who will appoint? Chairman. President. Okay. And who will determine the condition of service and tenure? It is the President. Understood till now? Okay. The next, functions. What this commission will do? What this commission will do? Or what are the function of this commission? Okay. Any matter which is related to scheduled caste. Any matter which is related to scheduled caste or violation of rights of the scheduled caste. Constitutionally they have rights plus statutory rights also given to the scheduled caste, right? We have right, what you call Civil Right Act that we have studied. Apart from that, we have atrocities to SC, ST Act. In those acts also, rights were conferred to the scheduled caste. So any issue related to those rights, so those issues will be investigated. Those issues will be investigated by whom? National Commission for Scheduled Caste. Apart from that, a person who belongs to scheduled caste, okay, that person rights were violated. Then he can file a complaint. Either police station or other authority. He has a right to file a complaint. That complaint will be investigated by this commission. The complaint is there, right? That will be investigated by this commission. Which commission? National Commission for Scheduled Caste. Apart from that, okay, this commission also involve or participate in the socio-economic development. Socio-economic development. What is that socio-economic development? Social development. Social development means, should not be discriminated, treated equally. Socially they should be high in the society, or at society level those scheduled caste people should equally treated with others also. That is social development. Economic development, their livelihood, shelter, food. Understood? So those things are comes under the economic development. So this National Commission for Scheduled Caste, it also actively participate in the socio-economic development of scheduled caste. Simple language, any scheme introduced by the either central government or a state government for the development of the SC, either it is a social or economic development. That in that scheme, creating awareness of the scheme, understood, making promotion of that scheme, and the scheme should be reached to the beneficiary, right? That will take care by this National Commission for Scheduled Caste. Understood? The next, what are the other functions? Other functions are, annually. So this National Commission for SC, what this commission has to do annually or whenever the president required, either once in a year or whenever president required. Please remember, this is important. This commission, when it will submit its report Annually it will submit, or whenever president required. At that time this commission will submit it, report to the president. Report of what? Report of the economic development of the SC, social development of the SC, any what you call this one problem faced by the SC, or any issue which is related to the violation of rights of SC, or any measures taken by the central government or state government for the development of the SC people. Understood? Or this commission also create the awareness among the SC people regarding their rights. That report will also submit by this commission, okay, to the president. Apart from that, this commission also give recommendation to the government at central level, central government, state level, state government. What is that recommendation? What are the schemes or policy, okay, should be introduced and implemented by the state government or central government for the effective development of the scheduled caste people? Or in short, what are the steps or measures or policy or schemes has to be initiated by either the central government or state government for the development of scheduled caste people? That recommendation also given by this committee. Which committee? Sorry, commission. National Commission for Scheduled Caste. That report also will, this commission will make a report that we have given this recommendation to the central government, we have given this recommendation to the state government. That also included in that report. That report which this commission will prepare and submit to whom? President. Okay. Then next, under that report, it also mentioned that, okay, the steps taken by the central government or state government. This commission give measures. What are the measures or steps should be taken by the central government and the state government for the development of the SC people? So this committee give recommendation, right? Commission. So central government or state government, whether they have accepted those recommendations or not. If they have accepted, then what they did? If they have not accepted, what are the reason why government has not accepted this recommendation? That is also has to mention in that report. Understand? The recommendation given by this commission, accepted by the government, why it is accepted and what you did. Not accepted, what is the reason behind it. Understood? That is also should be mentioned in this report. The report which is submitted by this commission to the president. Then what president will do? President will lay down that report before the parliament. And president will give that report to the governor, state level. And state will lay down that report before the state legislature. If it is a bicameralism, before the council and assembly. If it is a unicameralism, before the assembly only. Understood? So these are the function of National Commission for Scheduled Caste. Any doubt? Anyone? There is no such thing. Constitutionally, it is nowhere defined the qualification of chairman or a vice chairman or other member. Constitutionally, it is nowhere written qualification. Okay. The next report I already discussed. Power. Okay. So power. What is the power of this commission? Okay. So this commission has a power equal to the civil court. Equal to whom? Civil court. Okay. We have a civil court, right? Civil court, it is having procedure for calling the witness, summoning, right? Recording the evidence or recording the statement of the witness, or making what you call this one. What is it? Promise they will do the witness. Oath. That one also conducted, right? In civil court. In the same way, this commission is there, na? National Commission for ST. Sorry. In the same way, this commission, National Commission for SC, Scheduled Caste is there, right? So this commission has a power which is equal to civil court. While dealing with any case, which case? Violation of rights of scheduled caste. So while dealing with those cases, this commission has a power which is equal to civil court. So under that power, what they can do? They can issue the summon. They can issue the summon, issue the notice to call a particular person before the court. They can record the statement of the witness. They can administrate oath of the witness. Understood? Or they can issue a summon. They can issue a summon to the any court for the record or evidence of record. Record or evidence of record in simple language. In any court, that case is pending and evidence is there in that court. So this commission can issue the this one, affidavit, okay, or summoning to get those evidence before this commission. Understood? Why? Because this commission also deals with the cases which are related to violation of scheduled caste. But dealing those cases, this commission has a power which is equal to civil court. Understood everyone? So this is about National Commission for Scheduled Caste, composition, their power or function. Okay. Then next, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, ST. When it was established, remember, by 89th Constitutional Amendment Act in the year 2004, it was established. One separate new commission was established, right? By 89th Constitutional Amendment Act, one new article added, that was 338A. 338, that is for SC. 338A, ST. Understood? So what type of body it is? Constitutional, non-constitutional? Constitutional, right? So now we will study the composition, power, similar to SC only. Whatever we have studied about SC, just replace the word ST. Okay, anyway, again we will discuss. So its composition. So the composition of National Commission for Scheduled Caste is one chairman, one vice chairman, not more than 3 members. Total 5. Chairman, vice chairman, not more than 3 members. So that is the composition of this commission. Who appoint them? President. Who will determine the tenure or service of condition? President. One more thing, if they want to resign, can they resign? Yes. By submitting their resignation letter to President. President appoint. So they will submit their resignation letter to President. Okay. The next, why President means all the union executive power is in the hands of President. Okay. Article 53 we have studied. All the union executive powers are in the hands of President. So that's the President appoint. Okay. The next, what are the function? So this commission will do investigation. Investigation of any matter which is related to the violation of the rights. Violation of the rights of SC. The rights which are mentioned in ST. The rights which are mentioned in the Constitution or other statutory law. Okay. That will do. Apart from that, it also investigate or inquiring into any complaint which is lodged by the scheduled tribe people. If a person who belongs to scheduled tribe, his rights are violated, at that time he will file a case. Right? At that time, case or complaint. So that complaint or case will be investigated or inquired by this commission. Apart from that, this commission also actively participate in the socio-economic development of the scheduled tribes. Socio-economic development of scheduled tribes. Apart from this commission also, okay, other functions, this commission also create awareness among the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes about their rights. What are the rights or provisions which are mentioned in Constitution or other statutory law. So that awareness will be spread by this commission. Apart from that, this commission also give recommendation to the central government as well as the state government. What recommendation? Recommendation for the introduction of any policy, okay, or any scheme, policy, scheme or measures or steps to take for the central government or the state government for the development of the scheduled tribes. This commission also give recommendation. Okay. Apart from that, this what do you call this one? This commission is there, right? So this commission also submit its report. Report of what? All the cases, okay, in which yes, ST involved, all the recommendation given by this committee, either to the central government or the state government, right? So those recommendations will be mentioned in the report, same like SC. So this National Commission for ST also submit the report either annually or whenever President required. At that time it will submit. Under that report it also mentioned that the recommendation given by this commission to central government or state government plus the recommendation which is accepted by the central government or state government. If it is accepted, what they did? What are the measures they have taken? If they have not accepted, what are the reason why central government or state government has not accepted the recommendation given by this commission? Okay. Apart from that, this commission is also having another function. What is that? This commission will perform the other function which were determined by the president from time to time. This commission is also having other function which will be determined by president from time to time. That is additional function. Okay. So in the year 2005, President of India has allotted or determined additional function to this commission. Understood? In this body only it is mentioned that one of the function is that President from time to time determine the functions which that function has to perform by this commission. So in the year 2005, President, okay, has allotted certain functions which has to perform by this body, National Commission for ST or Scheduled Caste. What are those functions? Okay. What do you call in a forest area? Where we can find scheduled tribes people, especially in the forest area, hilly area, remote area, there only. So for those scheduled tribes people, they have a land ownership issues. What is going on? You know, since so many centuries they are living there only. But nowadays, recent time after independence, for the purpose of development, their land has been taken. Their land has been taken or deprived, right? So those issues are there. So one of the function of this committee is to that, you know, any issue which are related to the land ownership, okay, whether it is solved or not, okay, they have rights also. Forest Right Act 2006. According to that right, these tribal people are there, who are staying in the, who are living in the forest. They can get the land ownership. Whether they got the land ownership or not, or any issue which those forest people, sorry, scheduled tribes people who are living in forest are facing, that will be sorted out by this commission or monitored by this commission. Which commission? National Commission for SC. Okay. Then reserve can be possibility. Okay. Reserve forest either state or central. Either reserve forest is there, that is for state government also, for central government also, right?
But nobody should enter in reserve forest.
Yeah, but if state government has taken the land of the scheduled tribes, then actually that land belongs to scheduled tribes people. So state government is taken that land and declared as a reserve forest. But earlier that land belongs to SC people, right? So if state government has taken, then what are the other alternatives given by the state government to them? Getting the point, right? Rehabilitation, right? For the construction of dams and what you call other development project, what government do? Government will take the land, okay, of one tribal people and then allot the land at the other area. So whether they get or not, that is also will check by this commission. Okay. Apart from that, in the same way, you know, we have minerals, what do you call, coal reserves, coal mining, kolar. right? So here if you observe, most of the mines are near to that forest area only, or in the forest area only. And those areas once upon a time, it was inhabited by this scheduled tribes people only. So what are their rights? What are their rights? If their land has taken, no problem. But what are the measures taken by the government for that land issue? That will also monitor by this commission. Apart from that, this commission also work with the government and different government agencies. For what purpose? To provide the livelihood to the scheduled tribes people. To provide the livelihood to the scheduled tribes people. That will also work. Apart from that, this commission also look into the matter or measures which are taken by the government, either central government or a state government, for the rehabilitation. If they have shifted from one place to another place, right? So the scheduled tribes has to provide the other land to stay, right? Or rehabilitation. So rehabilitation provided to them or not. Understood? If it is not provided, what are the steps taken by the government then? Understood? That will also monitor by this commission. Okay. Then apart from that, this this commission also look into the matter of inalienable. Means this commission will see that this scheduled tribes is there, right? It should not be inalienable from the rest of the society. For rest of the society, they are living in our society only, so they should not be treated as alienable, and they should not be treated as a what? Sorry, they should not be treated as a alienable, means different. Okay, so that will also measure will take by this what do you call this one, commission. Apart from that, this commission will also actively coordinating with the government and other department also. Government and other department. For what purpose? For cooperation of what do you call this one? If any government schemes are there, or any steps taken by the government for the development of the ST people, or any schemes we have, the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, you know that, right? So certain measures were taken, right? So this committee will also actively participate, so that the measures which were taken by the government or the schemes which were introduced, that should be reached to these people. Why? Because they are like a alienable, right? Their inhabitants are different from the society. Geographically they are different. Socially also they are different. Each and every tribe socially they are different. Right? They have different custom or traditions. They have different language. They have different gods. Right? So all those custom and traditions are there, right? That must be protected. Okay. So who will do that one? This commission. Apart from that, PESA Act, remember 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, Panchayat Raj institutions. So that Panchayat Raj institutions was not applicable to the scheduled tribes, tribal areas and scheduled area. Remember, but that is applicable in scheduled area under one act, PESA Act. So PESA Act is implementing in a proper way or not, that will monitor or look after by this commission, National Commission for ST. Understood? So that is there. And what do you call this one? This commission also actively participate in the role or sort out any issue which is facing by the scheduled tribes people. The issue which is related to the land, the issue which is related to the rights over that mines, or any issue which are related to the environment. So this commission will actively participate and coordinate with government and other departments or authority also. Okay. If I talk about the report, I already discussed. Power, same, this commission is having a power equal to the civil court. Civil court. Okay. So this is about National Commission for ST.
So from the side of ST, if any problem occurs towards public.
Towards?
Public.
That will also what do you call, monitor or review by this commission.
Compensation will be given from the commission itself.
No, compensation will not. Compensation will give by the government, not by commission. Okay. Then next, till now we discuss Article 338, then 338A, now 338B. 338B, that is National Commission for Backward Class. National Commission for Backward Class, Article 338A. Sorry, B. Okay. Earlier this body was not there. This body was established by 102 Constitutional Amendment Act. This body is there, huh? The National Commission for OBC. Earlier this body was not there. This body was established by 102 Constitutional Amendment Act in the year 2019. In the year 2019. Act was 18, established. Okay. So, what was that, you know? Then which body will take care of the OBC people? For SC people, National Commission for SC. For ST people, National Commission for ST. But what about OBC people before 2019? It was National Commission for SC. National Commission for SC. Okay, so before 2019 or before establishment of this body, so the issue related to the OBC, that will take care by the National Commission for SC, scheduled caste. But after 2019, one of the functions of the scheduled caste has been removed. Why? Because separate constitutional body was formed. Okay, it doesn't mean that, you know, before 2019 we don't have any National Commission for OBC, it was there. But that was statutory body. That was what? Statutory body. That means the body which were formed through an act. Okay, then Article, 102 Constitutional Amendment had constitutionalized this body. Constitutionalized this National Commission for OBC. National Commission for OBC related to Article 338B. Okay. Now, what is the composition? Composition, very simple. Chairman, Vice Chairman, not more than 3 members. Chairman, Vice Chairman, not more than 3 members. Total how many? 5. Who will appoint? President will appoint. Who will decide the tenure? President. Who will decide the condition of service? President only. Understood? Who will remove them? President only. Understood? If they want to resign, can they resign? Yes, by submitting the resignation letter to President. Okay. So here, Article 338B. Article 338B. What does it provide? Okay. It provides, it empowers the National Commission for BC. It empowers the National Commission for Backward Class. What? To examine the complaints, any complaint which is related to the violation of the OBC. Okay. To examine that complaint and to scrutinize or examine the welfare scheme. Welfare scheme which are introduced by the central government or the state government for the development of the backward class people. Okay. In short, under Article 338B, it is, National Commission for BC has a power to examine the complaint or to examine the welfare scheme which were introduced by the central government or a state government for the development of the socially and economically backward class people, or in short, OBC. In short, OBC. Please remember, at state level you might be BCA, BCB, BCC, BCD, but at central level only OBC. At central level only OBC. Understood? Then apart from that, please remember, this commission will not give recommendation to the president that which caste can be categorized as a OBC or which caste cannot be categorized as a OBC. Please remember, very important point. Okay, this commission will not deals with the what do you call this one? Will not deals with the categorization of the, not categorization, we can say determination of the socially and economically backward classes. That means this committee will not give recommendation that which can comes under the OBC or which caste cannot comes under the OBC. That will take care by the president under article 242A. 242A. So what is that? Sorry, 342A. So what is that 342A? You know, according to article 342A, president has that power. President has that power, okay, or president will specify that which caste comes under the OBC, either at state level or UT level. Understood? Not this commission. Might be have in current affair might be have studied so many castes are demanding to be declared themselves as a BC, right? But who is having a power? Who can declare that any caste as a BC? President, either at a UT level or a state level. At state level, president can declare only after consultation with governor. Only after consultation with whom? Governor. So please remember, this commission will not give recommendation. President has its power. President had its power to specify which caste will come under the OBC or not, after consultation with the governor of that state. So generally, what do you call this? At state level, state government will decide based upon certain criteria and all those things. State government will decide whether this caste should categorize as a OBC or not. OBC or not. Then state government will give recommendation to the governor. Governor will give recommendation to the president, and president will specify or determine. Understood? So this is the procedure for any caste to be categorized as a OBC, other backward class. Apart from that, what is the other function of this commission, National Commission for OBC? What is that? It gives recommendation to the president for the categorization within the OBC. Categorization within the OBC. As I said, at central level only one caste, that is OBC. But state level, BCA, BCB, BCC, BCD, who is having more reservation, who is having more exceptions or scholarship or other things are there, right? That will be determined. Okay, categorization within the caste will do by this commission. But this commission will never give a recommendation regarding the determination of OBC. Understood? Clear? Okay. Then next.
Any caste want to join ST? This is the same process, sir.
Huh?
Any caste who want to join?
Yes, Parliament has to do SC or ST. Parliament has that power, not even the state government. Constitution has to amend, sir. Okay. Then what are the powers and function of this commission? Okay. Simple thing, what is that? This commission, National Commission for OBC, what it will do? It deals with or it investigation the case. The cases which are related to the rights of the BC. Okay, backward class. That will also done by this commission. Apart from this, this commission also actively participate in the socio-economic development of the backward class people. Apart from that, this commission also monitor the welfare schemes which were introduced by the central government or the state government for the development of BC. Okay, backward class people. That also well done by this commission. Apart from that same, this commission will prepare a report, annual report or whenever president required. Whenever president required. So this commission will prepare a report. Under that report it is mentioned about the issue, complaints, rights issue, okay, and welfare schemes. Welfare schemes plus recommendation given by this commission to the central government or state government. Those recommendations accepted by the central government or state government. Accepted, what government did. Not accepted, what are the reasons or why they have not accepted. That should be mentioned in that report, similar to SC or ST. Okay, so understood everyone? Apart from that, while investigating the case, National Commission for OBC is having a power which is equal to civil court, same like SC or ST. So understood all three? Article 338, 338A, 338B. Okay. The next, UPSC. Article 315 to 323 deals with UPSC and SPSC. UPSC, Union Public Service Commission at central level, at state level, SPSC, State Public Service Commission. Plus it is also having a provision of Joint Public Service Commission, JPSC. Okay, central level UPSC, state level SPSC. At state level, popularly it is called state PCS. State PCS. Okay, and South India they call the groups exam. That one only, SPSC. Okay, I hope I am clear. Right. So Article 315 to 323, UPSC, SPSC and JPSC. JPSC. So this UPSC, it is a constitutional body. Okay, no doubt about it. A body which is formed through an article of a constitution, that is constitutional body. Right. So how many members are there, or what is the composition? So the composition of UPSC is one chairman and as many as member, which will determined by president from time to time. As many as members which will determined by president from time to time. Okay. So usually it consists one chairman and 9 to 11 members. Usually UPSC consists one chairman and 9 to 11 members. If workload is more members. If workload is less member. And say those members are there, right? They are appointed by the president. They are appointed by president. But here, chairman and member, qualification is not mentioned in the constitution. But in constitution it is mentioned that out of the total member including the chairman, not less than half member, not less than half member should be those members which are having experience in the public administration. Which are having experience in the public administration. Take an example, 10 members are there. Out of those 10 members is the total. And 50% of the 10 members is 5 members. So out of those 10 members, minimum 5 members, not less than 50, right? Not less than 50% or not less than half of the total member. So out of those 10 members, minimum 5 members should be appointed as that person who is having an experience in the public administration. Civil servant in short. Minimum 5 members, or means constitutionally not less than half of the total member. That is mentioned. But what is the qualification, age and all those things? It is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Understood? Everyone? Right. The next, apart from that, this other services, condition of services are there, right? That will be determined by the president. The next, tenure. So what is the tenure of UPSC? 6 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. The tenure of the chairman and member. How much? Either 6 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. We have already discussed what does it mean. 6 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. Right? So that is the tenure. Apart from that, can they resign? Yes, they can resign by submitting their resignation letter to president. Simple. By submitting their resignation letter to president, they can resign. Can they remove? Yes, they can remove. Then who will remove? Okay, president will remove. Grounds of removal are mentioned in the constitution. What is that? President can remove chairman as well as the member of Union Public Service Commission if the members are unfit, or if the members are become unsound mind, bad person, or become insolvent, bankrupted, okay, or the person engage in other work other than the work appointed or allotted by the commission, allotted by the commission. So in these cases, president can remove the chairman as well as the member. So there is another ground, that is misbehavior. That is misbehavior. So regarding misbehavior, who will remove? President only, but only after the recommendation of Supreme Court. Supreme Court will investigate the case of misbehavior. Okay, after investigation the case, Supreme Court give recommendation to the president, either to remove or not to remove. The recommendation which is given by the Supreme Court, it is binding on president. If Supreme Court says that remove the chairman, president has to remove. Understood? So in short, for misbehavior ground, who will remove? President only, but only after the recommendation of Supreme Court. Very important point. Supreme Court. Understood everyone? All of you? Okay. The next function. What's sir? Doubt? What is your doubt? No, no sir. The next function. So what is that function? It conduct the exam for the All India services or other civil services in India. We already know, we are preparing for that thing. All India services, IAS, IPS, IFOs, Indian Forest Service, either for All India services or other services, central government services. CDS is also conducted by the UPSC. CDS, IES, that will be conducted by UPSC only. Apart from that, if state, okay, required certain assistance from the UPSC, then UPSC can help him. Or in short, whenever the state level, if state SPSC is there, right, it required the help of the Union Public Service Commission. At that time, SPSC will inform to the governor. Governor will request to the president. President will inform to the UPSC to help the SPSC. So understood? This is the procedure. Or in short, UPSC is also help to the state regarding the appointment or setting up of the paper or determining the syllabus. UPSC already helped to the south states. If you observe APPSC, TSPSC, their pattern is equal to UPSC only. Earlier pattern was easy, but after 2015 they have changed the pattern. Okay, so they ask help of the UPSC, UPSC help in simple language. That one, what do you call? So for this help, what do you call? Approval of the president is mandatory. Approval of president is mandatory. UPSC not only help to the SPSC, UPSC also help to the this one, JPSC, if there is any. If any Joint Public Service Commission established, then for Joint Public Service Commission also for determining the syllabus, determining the recruitment process. We have the UPSC recruitment process, first prelims, then mains, then interview. That is a recruitment process. In that way also it will help, plus qualification, for determining the qualification. For all those things, UPSC can help even to the Joint Public Service Commission. Apart from that, members of the central administration or the members of the All India services are there, the IAS, IPS, IFOS officers are there, right? So for their removal, government will remove, but government will consult the UPSC. Government will consult UPSC. Promotions are there, na? For civil servants, government will promote after consultation with the UPSC. Understood? Apart from that, compensation, traveling expenses, other compensations are there, right? Government will give to the civil servant after consultation with the Union Public Service Commission. Understood? So these are the powers of Union Public Service Commission or function. Please remember, same for SPSC also, State Public Service Commission. Okay, so this is about UPSC, then SPSC, State Public Service Commission, constitutional body only. Okay. UPSC, before independence, it was established in the year 1926. Actually, Government of India Act 1919, in that one of the provision was there. So based upon that provision, Union Public Service Commission was established in the year 1926 at New Delhi. State. Okay. Government of India Act 1935. Which act? Government of India Act 1935. Under that act, there was a provision that, okay, at provincial level, in political science, province means state. So at state level also one body should be established. The name of the body was Provincial Public Service Commission. So before independence also, State Public Service Commission or Provincial Public Service Commission were established, based upon which act? Government of India Act 1935. Okay. At present also all states are having State Public Service Commission. But composition is different from one state to another state. In constitution what it is mentioned? It should have a chairman. It should have one chairman and as many as member, which will determine by the governor from time to time. As many as members which will determine by the governor from time to time. Some are small states, they require less member. Some are big state, they require more member. So governor of that state will determine. Governor of that state will determine. For PCS is important, your state. If you are preparing for Andhra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, you must know this thing. Your state level PCS. Okay. So governor will appoint them. Is there any qualification? In constitution it is nowhere mentioned about the qualification. But in constitution is mentioned that not less than half of the member, not less than half of the member should be appointed, okay, should be appointed to such a person who is having an experience of the public administration. Not less than, same as UPSC, not less than half of the member should be appointed. Which member? The member who is having, okay, experience in the public administration. Civil servants only. Okay, so that is there. And apart from that, what do you call? Governor will determine the condition of service, not the tenure. They have a tenure, 62. Okay. If I talk about the tenure, UPSC, 65 years or 6 years, whichever is earlier. SPSC, 62 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. Okay. Can they resign? Yes, they can resign by submitting their resignation letter to governor. Can they remove? Yes. Who? President. Please remember, the chairman and member of State Public Service Commission, they are appointed by whom? Governor. But who will remove them? President. What grounds? 2 grounds. Misbehavior. The case of misbehavior will be dealt by the Supreme Court. After dealing with the case, scrutinize the case, Supreme Court will give recommendation to the President and President has to follow the recommendation. Understood? Misbehavior case. Other case like unsound mind, bankrupted. Okay, apart from that, what is that? The person who is diverted from his job or the person who is favoring the private people. Possibility, na? Take an example, institution people are there, big institution. We will give you this much amount of money, leak the papers. That is also there, na? Corruption and all those things. If those cases are there, at that time directly they can remove by the President without consulting the Supreme Court. If there is a matter of the misbehavior, at that time only President will remove the chairman and member of the State Public Service Commission only on the recommendation of Supreme Court. Understood everyone? Everyone? Okay. So this is about what do you call? SPSC, tenure, composition, removal. Function same. Whatever the UPSC do at a central level, same thing will be done by the SPSC at state level. Right? So it will conduct the exams at a state level, state civil services are there, na? Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4, PDO. PDO, you know, Panchayat Development Officer. Those are also civil posts, right? So those exams will be conducted by State Public Service Commission. And State Public Service Commission, if they require help of the UPSC, then they can get the help. How we already discussed. Apart from that, SPSC, governor will appoint the judges other than the district judge. District judge will also appointed by the governor after consultation with the High Court. In the same way, judges other than the district judge, we already discussed. Judges other than the district judge will be appointed by the governor after consultation with the state High Court and SPSC. While appointing the judges other than the district judge, at that time State Public Service Commission will be consulted by the governor. We have the civil court judge, magistrate judge, metropolitan judges are there, right? Those judges will be appointed by the governor after consultation with State Public Service Commission. Okay, and same promotion of the state level public servant, promotion, their removal, okay, increment, decrement, and what you call other things, this one, while giving compensation. So in these cases, state government will consult to the State Public Service Commission. Understood? And one more important thing, listen carefully. At state level, a person who is appointed as a member of the State Public Service Commission, he is not eligible for reappointment. He is not eligible for reappointment as a member of the State Public Service Commission, but he is eligible to be appointed as a chairman of State Public Service Commission or member or chairman of UPSC. Understood? Once again I will tell. A person, for example, this Jaideep appointed as a member of Karnataka KS, right? So after the expiration of the tenure, he is not eligible again reappointed as a member of Karnataka KS, but he is eligible to be appointed as a chairman of KS or member or chairman of UPSC. That is there. Understood? First member, then second chairman. So a person who is appointed as a chairman of SPSC, again he is not eligible to be appointed as a member or chairman of SPSC, but he is eligible to be appointed as a member or chairman of UPSC. Understood? Same case in UPSC, a person who is appointed as a member of UPSC, he is not eligible to again reappoint as a member, but he is eligible to appoint as a chairman of UPSC. Understood? Then in case of chairman, a person who is appointed as a chairman of UPSC, again he is not eligible to any kind of appointment in the government. He is not eligible for any kind of appointment, not even in UPSC also. Now understood the SPSC member eligible for chairman of SPSC or chairman or member of UPSC. Chairman of SPSC is eligible to become the member or chairman of UPSC. Then member of UPSC is eligible to become the chairman of UPSC. Please remember.
So why such things?
Okay. Why such thing means again future influence. They are the member. If they leak the paper, then
During that tenure they can do it.
they will be removed then.
If they are well and good towards well and good, then they can continue them also.
If they are well and good, then why there is a leakage of paper then? If they do at that time.
So then they will not appoint once more, right, sir?
No, same post they can't. Understood? So this is about UPSC and SPSC. So these are the constitutional bodies.